UFC 294 is this weekend, and I know I'm not the only one who is dying to see these fights. We're going to do a full main card breakdown, starting off with the first fight on the main card and end off with the main event. But before we do, please give this video a like, comment who you think will win in the main event and co-main event. I read all the comments, and subscribe if you enjoy MMA content or at least enjoy my content. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first fight on the main card, we have a crazy bantamweight fight. Said Nurmagomedov versus Muin Gafurov. This fight, I am telling you now, it is going to be a banger. Said Nurmagomedov isn't just your typical Russian wrestler who's going to get a hold of you, take you down, and just ground and pound his way out. He is a flashy striker. He has wild kicks, has crazy punches, and Muin Gafurov, I know a lot of people aren't going to recognize him, but he used to fight in UFC and actually had a crazy fight with John Lineker. He's a crazy puncher, a crazy wild power puncher. He's going to get in the clinch, throw a lot of hooks, throw a lot of knees. So you should expect a lot of action. If I had to pick who I think would win, I would favor Said Nurmagomedov. He throws a lot of wild kicks, and he usually stands up for a good bit until he has to grapple with you. So I would expect this to be a knockout by Said Nurmagomedov. Going into the second fight into the main card, we actually have another banger fight, which I think is going to end with a knockout. Ikram Aliskerov, who is a 11th middleweight, taking on Warlley Alves. Ikram is a plus 100 underdog who I would highly suggest to bet big money on. He is 14-1 and has only lost to one person, and that is Khamzat Chimaev. Now, I know a lot of people are overlooking Ikram because his grappling isn't really that good, his striking isn't really that good, he don't really have insane power, but I'm telling you now, the guy that Ikram is fighting is not much better. Warlley Alves, he did submit Colby Covington, which a lot of people might know that from, but other than that, he's a win-loss type of guy. If I had to pick who I think would win, choose Ikram Aliskerov by knockout. I am telling you now, he will win. Going into the co-main event, we actually have a very surprising light heavyweight matchup. Number 2 Magomed Ankalaev will be taking on number 7 Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker actually has looked pretty good in his last couple of fights. His last win was against Anthony Smith, which we all know was kind of a weird fight. You know, it felt like Johnny Walker could have finished Anthony Smith, but he didn't. And then in Magomed Ankalaev's last fight, he had a weird draw with Jan Blachowicz where he didn't really do anything in the first couple of rounds and then decided to take Jan down in the last couple of rounds. So this fight is going to be very boring, I think. In my opinion, I think this is going to be a unanimous decision win to Magomed Ankalaev. I think Johnny Walker, unless he does something insane like a flying knee or a spinning elbow or a flying kick, there's no way he's going to out-technician Magomed Ankalaev. I think Magomed Ankalaev likes to stand on the feet until he has to go to the ground, just like Said Nurmagomedov. I would expect Magomed Ankalaev to just keep this as a distance fight, probably use a lot of leg kicks, pump the jab a lot, but I would expect it for him to win 30-27 in a unanimous decision win against Johnny Walker. Now, going into the fight that everybody's been dying to see, Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev. Now, I actually posted this upcoming fight about 4 months ago. It was a wild prediction. I said Khamzat Chimaev would win because this is the tail end career of Kamaru Usman, and I still stand by that. I think Khamzat Chimaev is truly one of one. He is, if not the greatest first round fighter of all time in the UFC. He literally comes at you right when the bell rings, and I don't think Kamaru Usman will have an answer for this. Yes, I know Kamaru Usman was a champion and he defended his belt so many times, and this is a 3-round fight, but I don't think it matters. This fight is not only at middleweight, which I think it favors Khamzat Chimaev, it is also on a 10-day notice for Kamaru Usman, which also favors Khamzat Chimaev, and Khamzat had a full training camp for this. You really think Kamaru Usman will be more conditioned or more ready than Khamzat Chimaev? I don't think so. And everybody wants to use this MMA math like, oh, Kamaru Usman knocked out Gilbert and Khamzat struggled against Gilbert. That means Kamaru Usman is going to beat Khamzat. Like, no, that's not how that's going to work. That fight was like 3 years ago, and Gilbert Burns won that first round. And then I think, if I had to be honest with you, I think he just adjusted incorrectly going into that second fight and ran into that straight. But I think Khamzat Chimaev, truly, like, he's a minus 360 favorite. The only way Kamaru Usman has a chance is if he looks amazing on the feet, right? Because Kamaru Usman does have a 97% takedown defense, but like, if it's Khamzat Chimaev, like, I don't think that matters. Like, his 97% takedown defense, you gotta think about this, is against Gilbert Burns, who doesn't go straight up for takedowns like Khamzat, against Colby, who does. That's good. You know, he fought Colby twice. That is a good opponent. Jorge Masvidal and Leon Edwards. Like, Leon doesn't just go straight up for a takedown. Khamzat does, you know, so I think that statistic is kind of like up in the air. But I do not think Kamaru Usman has a strong chance against Khamzat just because of the 10-day notice. If both fighters knew they were going to fight each other and Kamaru Usman had a real game plan and had a real training camp and was conditioned for this fight, I would, you know, favor Kamaru Usman. But because it is a 10-day notice and Kamaru Usman is at the tail end of his career, he has terrible knees, he wasn't ready for this fight, I do not see a way for him to win. I think Khamzat Chimaev will win, and this is what's going to surprise everyone, by first round submission. I think he trips up Kamaru Usman, he gets him confused, he gets on his back and submits him in a rear naked choke. And for those who don't know, Kamaru Usman has been submitted before in his second ever pro fight by a rear naked choke in the first round, and I think it happens again because he will not be ready for Khamzat Chimaev. Now, going into the main event, we have another crazy fight that I don't think anybody is ready for. Islam Makhachev taking on Alexander Volkanovski again for the rematch against same situation. Islam Makhachev preparing for Charles Oliveira, full training camp, dialed in, he's ready, taking on Volkanovski, who not only just got out of surgery, but is coming off a 10-day notice and just weighed 181 pounds. Guys, I would love to see Volkanovski win. I would love to see the upset, especially on a 10-day notice. I just don't think it's going to happen. And I think this is why Volkanovski will be submitted or knocked out. He will be finished in this fight. Volkanovski is coming in at 181 pounds within 2 weeks. That's going to be hard to cut. 26 pounds to cut, right? That's a lot of weight. Then he has to fight Makhachev on a 10-day notice, just coming out of surgery. Like, he's not even fully healthy, and you're taking on Islam Makhachev, who is the champion of the lightweight division. This will not be an easy fight for Volkanovski. And this is another reason, just like Kamaru Usman and Khamzat, I do not see a way for Volkanovski winning. Maybe Volkanovski can defend a couple of takedowns and land a couple of good shots, but he's not going to knock out Islam Makhachev. He's barely healthy. He's coming out of surgery 3 weeks ago. He's cutting 26 pounds. I mean, this man is not conditioned to do anything like this. Now, if he does, Volkanovski surpasses Khabib on the all-time GOAT list. That's without a doubt, but I just don't think it's likely. That's why in the main event, if I had to pick who I think would win, I am favoring Islam Makhachev by finish, probably submission by the third round. I think Volkanovski in the first round would probably take it slow to see how his conditioning, and then he's going to start ramping up his leg kicks and the jab and the feint work, and I think that's when Islam Makhachev capitalizes on a mistake that Volkanovski causes and submits him very easily. Now, if Volkanovski somehow comes out of the blue and finishes Makhachev, dude, this would have been a huge save in the card and a big highlight in Volkanovski's career. That's who I think is going to win. That's what I'm ready for. Let me know who y'all think will win. Comment who you think will win in the main event and co-main. I've been getting a lot of comments saying I'm delusional, Kamaru Usman's going to win, and Volkanovski has a chance. I just don't see it, but if I am wrong, please tell me why. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, comment who you think will win, and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next video.